So everybody, welcome to the Grandstream Wi-Fi 6 GWN Go Wireless NZ webinar. Firstly, let me introduce you to our two panelists. So we have Hieu Huynh joining us, who's the Director of Support at Grandstream and has been with the company for almost 15 years now. He's played a pivotal role in getting Grandstream to the place that it is today. And we also have Simon Robinson with us, who is a network engineer at Go Wireless NZ. He has been in the industry for about 6 years now, and his passion is empowering people to use their products technology to the best of their abilities. So thank you guys for joining the webinar. They have a lot of interesting aspects to talk about with regards to our latest GWN products and our free of cost Wi-Fi management platform, GWN Cloud. If you all have any questions at any point in the webinar, there's a small box with a Q on it. You guys can just type in your questions and Simon and Hieu will answer them once they're done with their discussion. We will also share a recording of this webinar in case you guys have to exit midway through for some reason or the other. So Simon and Hieu, the floor is all yours. Please take it away.
Cool. Yeah, thanks everyone for coming along today. Hopefully everyone can hear me well. Yeah, Hieu, welcome. I'm here in New Zealand. Where are you today?
I'm out in Dallas, Texas now. I actually moved from Los Angeles exactly 1 year to this date
Nice.
during the pandemic. So I'm coming from the motherland here.
Nice. And is the heat a lot different there, or?
Yeah, definitely. In LA, it got hot, but it was a dry heat. Here is a humid heat, so that takes some getting used to for sure.
Nice, cool. Well, so today, everyone, we are talking about the brand new products, and I'll actually be able to show a few of them on the screen here. So I got the 7660LR and the 7664, so I'll open those up a bit later on, show them off. But yeah, why don't you tell us a bit about them, Hieu?
Yeah, no, we're very excited. These are our first, really high density Wi-Fi 6 access points. With the 7660 LR being our first outdoor Wi-Fi 6 access point, and we're super excited to finally upgrade, I guess you can say, and kind of at the right timing. Especially when with the whole situation in China and the chip shortages. Somehow, our hardware project manager was able to procure these Wi-Fi 6 chipsets. I don't know how he did it, but whatever he did, it's working.
Some good convincing bartering, maybe bribing.
Probably.
Yeah, from our end here in New Zealand, I'd say Grandstream's been one of the better stocked kind of vendors that we've had. I guess kind of everyone had varying levels of issues with the chipsets and stuff, but we've actually been managed to secure a lot of the Wi-Fi 6 stuff, like you said. So it's been great for us.
Yeah, we're very, very lucky. I think we've secured a very handsome amount of Wi-Fi 6 chipsets. And I think that will allow us to continue having this type of availability throughout the year. I think we pre-planned up to 18 months ahead of time. So we should have enough to last. I know, like if you're trying to order these Wi-Fi 6 chipsets directly from Qualcomm, which a lot of manufacturers are, I think it's a 12-month wait time just to get these orders in, and so we got very lucky. We're very blessed, and we had you guys help us out and get rid of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been scary for us to see ETAs from a lot of our vendors where the lead times are beyond 300 days. So I guess a lot of things have kind of affected the, so like say chipset shortages, and even things like the Russia and Ukraine thing has affected the chipsets as well, right?
Yeah, that's definitely gonna. I think it'll affect some of the components, especially those that use nickel. I think it'll affect that, but I think more so it'll probably affect the logistics more than the components.
Right. Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see how that turns out.
Cool. Well, so we've got two models here, and we'll do a bit of a brief comparison between these and the other ones in a minute. But you mentioned Wi-Fi 6 quite a bit, so I guess for those out there who maybe aren't super clued up on Wi-Fi terminology, what makes Wi-Fi 6 better than, say, Wi-Fi 5?
Sure. I think with Wi-Fi 6, the whoever designed it, of course, they're these geniuses, right? And they see that the world is going Wi-Fi. I mean, everything in your home, is starting to use Wi-Fi. I mean, my refrigerator is Wi-Fi, my dishwasher is Wi-Fi. It's pretty much everything. I did a Wi-Fi scan in my home not too long
Hmm.
ago, and I have 69 Wi-Fi devices connected.
Nice,
And
nice.
so it's quite a lot, and
Yeah, yeah. When we do the
and the thing,
trainings, like I always talk about Wi-Fi and I say to people, oh, what kind of access points are you looking at? This can do this many clients, this can do this many clients. They always say, oh, I don't have that many clients at home, but it's only until you list them out, right? That people
yeah,
have so many Wi-Fi devices nowadays.
it's it's crazy what we're doing at home, and this is just my
Yeah,
house, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
and so everyone's just going to be using more and more Wi-Fi devices, and that number is just going to increase. And the guys that designed Wi-Fi 6 or 802.11ax, they knew this coming in, and so they designed it specifically for dense environments.
Hmm.
So you'll have different types of technologies that are implemented into Wi-Fi 6, such as I mean, multi-user MIMO, that's been around since 12.5, but then you have your OFDMA and BSS coloring and all of these different little technologies built in that helps make high density environments seamless. You'll
Hmm.
have that seamless wireless experience no matter how many people are in a specific area. And I think that's probably the main thing for Wi-Fi 6, in my opinion. Of course, with
Hmm.
Wi-Fi 6, you have the increased speed capabilities as well. But I think that design for density is probably what makes it shine compared to Wi-Fi 5.
Yeah. And we've seen it from your marketing team as well. So for those who haven't signed up to Grandstream's marketing newsletter, I encourage it, as well as for those in the New Zealand region, sign up to the Go Wireless newsletter on our website as well. We tend to share a lot of the materials that Grandstream share out. And you had that great analogy that everyone, when they talk about Wi-Fi 6, does, which is about, the lanes on a motorway or a freeway. With obviously Wi-Fi 6, you can kind of park multiple devices on the same lane, which is a previous limitation on the likes of Wi-Fi 5. So yeah, definitely very cool.
Yeah. Our resources, our marketing resources, they give a lot of good information. But of course, I would say that the team at Go Wi-Fi, you guys are the wireless experts. So I know you
Well,
guys have a pretty good blog going too. So.
we try. Cool. So the 7664 and the 7660 LR, what makes them better than your previous access points?
All right. So let's start with the 7664 because it's an indoor. This is our most powerful indoor access point to date. Now, this is a 4x4 Wi-Fi 6, and it in terms of capacity, we listed it as 750 connected clients, which is quite an upgrade from our previous model, which is the 7630 4x4 Wi-Fi 5. Now, it's almost triple if you look at the numbers, just because of the much more powerful chipset. It also does have a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port in there, along with the 1 gigabit Ethernet port. So that also increases the overall, traffic capabilities as well. I know sometimes when you have a very powerful Wi-Fi 6 chipset with a high theoretical wireless throughput, it's great,
Mhm.
especially when you're communicating wirelessly. But to get that traffic on the wire through a switch, having that 2.5 gig port really helps, increase that bandwidth there.
Mhm.
And I think what's really good about this particular access point, not just compared to what we've had in the past, but industry wide. If you're looking at some of the comparisons, one thing you'll notice is that with the GWN 7664, you're getting Wi-Fi 6 on both 2.4 and on 5 gigahertz, and
Mm.
it's a 4x4 on both 2.4 and 5. whereas
Mhm.
some of the access points that you might see in the market might have Wi-Fi 6 just for the 5 gigahertz, and possibly Wi-Fi 4 for 802.11n for the 2.4, and they're usually using a 2x2 for the 2.4 and a 4x4 for the 5 gigs. But we this is a full-on Wi-Fi 6 access
Yeah.
point. So
Yeah.
that's what I like about it.
Mhm.
I do have some products to show you guys too, but the 7664 is not one of them because I'm using it right now.
Right. Yeah.
But I think you got one
I'll
in
show
your
the
hands
one I've
right
got
there.
again. Yeah. There we go. So a very, very similar form factor to if you've used Grandstream access points in the past. And as we can see there, we've got the 2.5 gig and the 1 gig port there as well.
Yeah.
They
So
always
if you
impress me. They always look so clean and so nice.
Yeah, I like that little gray silhouette of the Wi-Fi 6 logo there. I
Mm.
think that makes it look nice. But yeah,
Shows off to the people that come into your house that you got the best and greatest, right?
yeah, exactly. And then you can just draw an E there for later.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Nice.
if anyone if anyone is familiar with our access points, very similar form factor to the rest of our indoor access point lineup.
Yeah, it's not too much. I don't have any of the others here, but it's not a lot bigger than, say, the 7630. I think it's a very similar size, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very similar size, if not the same dimensions, but it is
Hmm.
slightly heavier. We
Yeah.
beefed up the heat sinks in there to handle the chipset.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah,
Nice.
I think that's really the main difference between our this new 4x4 compared to our old 4x4. Of course, along with all of the perks that come with Wi-Fi 6.
Hmm.
You do have an increased throughput of 3.55 gigabits per second. So it's a big increase in throughput there with this upgrade.
So when people are
With
seeing
these,
that 3.5 gig throughput, we always obviously see those stats kind of thrown out there. Obviously, that's not
yeah,
to one particular client, right? That's kind of a
correct. Yeah, for I believe if you break that down on the 2.4 gigahertz frequency, we have a maximum of 1.147 gigabit per
Mhm,
second. And the
mhm,
5 gigahertz frequency, we have a maximum of 2.4 gigabits per second. But
yeah.
overall throughput, wireless throughput, if you add them together with a mixture of clients, you get 3.55
Mhm.
gigabits per second.
Yeah, we're blessed here in New Zealand to have multi-gig internet. So I have a gigabit per second internet on my connection. I took one of these home, and I've got my iPhone 13 here, and did a speed test, and yeah, got the gig throughput on wireless. So very, very
Yeah,
impressive.
you guys are spoiled in New Zealand.
We
I,
actually have 4 gig circuits, and some people are getting 10 gigs soon. I don't know what you'd do with that much internet, but sure.
Yeah, we at my new house here in Dallas, we just got 1 gig internet
Right.
about 6 months ago, and so that's what I'm using now. But yeah, we're a
Nice.
little bit behind you guys.
Oh, I mean, you're coming through loud and clear now, so that's great. Um, I just noticed that someone actually asked a question that I was going to ask as well. The 2.5 gig port, kind of how do we maximize the use of that? So obviously we've got to use it with switches and infrastructure that supports that 2.5 gig port, right?
Yeah, you'll definitely need a switch that's capable of the 2.5 gig or even higher. I think we're going to start seeing 10 gigabit Ethernet ports soon.
Hmm.
Those are
Hmm.
going to be backwards compatible and allow you to use that full 2.5. So actually, I think that new Apple that Mac Studio has a 10 gig port, the one that just came
Yeah, it
out.
does. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna start seeing a lot more of those, and um, I'm not I'm not sure what you have in store, Simon, later on in the coming soon section,
Hmm.
but
Yep.
hopefully I don't spoil it. Grandstream, we are coming out with some switches later this year too.
Not a day goes by when people aren't asking us where the Grandstream switches Hugh. So
Yeah, I see in the chat that Mark just asked.
yeah, exactly. Nice. Cool. I guess yeah. So the 7664, amazing. Maybe let's have a chat about this baby,
All right, yeah, the
7660LR.
7660LR. This is our first Wi-Fi 6 outdoor access point I have
Oh,
here.
there you
Very,
go.
very similar form factor. It looks almost identical to the 7605 LR. It's also a 2x2 with the two external antennas, but it's just Wi-Fi 6. With this new chipset, again, we're able to increase the maximum concurrent clients. The 7660 LR does support up to 256. It is a slightly lower wireless overall throughput at 1.77 gigabits, but that's understandable being a 2x2, and it's definitely not meant for the super high power capacity like the 7664. We'll also have the 7664 LR coming soon, which is the 4x4 version of this with four external antennas instead of two. But yeah, this is basically just everything the 7660 is, which has been out for several months now. Very popular indoor access point, 2x2. This is just the outdoor version of that. You increase the range from 175 meters of the indoor version to 250 meters for this outdoor version.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest advantages we see with people who are using the Grandstream outdoor wireless is the range that you offer on the likes of the 7630 LR and the 7605 LR. People are always super impressed with that.
Yeah, definitely. And although these are called outdoor access points, you can definitely use them indoors. Especially if you live in large homes. I mean, all of my colleagues live in large homes, so because they make more money than I do, so they can afford it, and so they can use these LRs instead of having indoor access points. At my previous home, I just had one LR covering the whole home,
All right.
2-story home. So very. Yeah, I was
I was
going to
just going
say.
to say mounting options on that one there. You've got if you're mounting it inside versus pole mounting, or
Yeah, what's really cool, and just because I hate drilling holes in drywall, the
yeah,
mount that comes with it actually fits right over your the panel that you have on the wall, like for the light switches and
all right.
the Cat 5. There's two screws on there. I just screw it directly into those screw holes, so I don't have to drill any additional holes in the walls. But of course, you do have the option of pole mounting it and even mounting it in different orientations as well. But I'm lazy, so I just use existing holes.
Nice. And external antennas, obviously, you've got the Omnis that are included, but you can obviously screw in your own preferred antenna if you like to make it a bit more directional, right?
That's correct. Yeah, all of our access points come with Omnis, but you can use third-party directional antennas. They all use the same SMA connectors, so as long as it's the same type of connector, you'll be able to use it.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, yep. Wives love to put holes in the drywalls. Well, obviously Hugh doesn't, but each their own.
I don't, but I know what you're talking about, Mark.
Yeah, so they're two fantastic access points. I guess moving on then, how do you manage them? How do people configure them? We've got a couple of options, right?
We've always had three options for everyone to manage our access points. The most popular one being GWN Cloud, which is our cloud-based controller. The best thing about it, I guess, everyone likes to hear is that it's no cost. You're not paying subscription fees. It's free to use, and the hard limit on that is 1 million access points per account. So, plenty of room to grow.
We have a customer with 1,000, so we're getting there, or close to 1,000.
Hey, almost there. But if any one of you are on this webinar that needs more than 1 million, I'll give you my personal cell phone and you can call me right away.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's always been a popular option. We do have the GWN Manager, which is the software version of our GWN Cloud. It's great for those customers or institutions that really aren't really allowed to use the cloud, I guess I could say, due to their corporate security policies. We see that a lot with financial institutions or government entities, where they haven't really adopted cloud-based offerings yet. So we have the same piece of basically we just take GWN Cloud, put it in a software package, and you can install that on your own server, and you have full control over all of the networking as well as the security aspects of your network.
Mhm.
And the third option is, of course, our world famous embedded controller. If every access point has the ability to be a controller for another access point, and that number ranges between 30 and 50, depending on the model. Both of these, the 7660LR and the 7664, have the capability of controlling 50 other access points. And the same type of functionality, except I would point out that the captive portal maybe is a little bit more flexible when you're using the embedded controller, because you're able to upload HTML code, whereas on the cloud, it's just a point and click.
Right. So if you wanted it a bit more flexible in the way that your landing page was, you'd probably recommend the embedded controller, right?
Yeah, because the cloud, we have to be careful with what people post, and some people, will
Don't have the best intentions, right?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. So I guess looking at the 2 access points, what kind of deployment scenarios do we see them being used?
This outdoor one is a very popular deployment for not customers, but for governments. We've seen it do very well in government type installations. For example, in the Philippines, we did a project with the government to provide free internet access to every single citizen of the country. So we installed about 3,000 of these outdoor access points throughout the country.
Wow.
And everything is managed via their own GWN manager software that they installed on their own server. And all of the remote locations are linked up via satellite internet connection. So those type of installations we see a lot of. We've also seen just recently, I did a project in Ecuador for the train stations, because these are a little bit more high powered than the indoor access points. They're able to install an access point in each of the train cars to be able to get internet while it's moving. Now, of course, I think I should mention that that's not a common installation, because we did have to create custom software for that, but we have that capability. It's basically just to shorten down the refresh rate, so that the access points can connect to the other access points as with the fast moving speeds.
Right. So as in like a access point kind of at a station as the train goes past, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Okay, right. Yeah, nice.
So I would say for the outdoor access points, you see a lot of those type of installations. For the indoor, we're still probably the hospitality segment for us has been the most popular, with hotels and convention centers. And I think the 7664 hasn't been out for too long, but I think we're gonna start seeing a lot more of those installed in convention centers, just because of the higher capacity. We previously did install the 7630s, the 4x4s for the Wi-Fi 5 in some convention centers and some stadiums. But I think the 7664 is well suited for those type of dense environments where there are a lot of people at the same time.
Yeah. Very, very cool. We're seeing a few questions kind of come in. You've obviously got the GWN cloud, but you've also got a GDMS cloud. Is there any plans to kind of integrate, or are they separate kind of thing?
Yeah, our plan all along, we envision just a single portal for everything, from our VoIP, our UCM Remote Connect, as well as our GWN networking lineup. So eventually, it will combine into one portal, so that you'll be able to see everything. It's taking a little bit longer just because we've kind of shifted a bit, and right now we're heavily focused on our networking portfolio. I
Yep.
think I looked on our roadmap, and in 2022 we have about 20 new products in our networking lineup scheduled to be released. So I think it'll happen, but
Yeah.
I think you guys would much rather see a PoE switch come out before that happens, right? If you had to pick.
If we had to pick, yeah, absolutely. Another one that came through was the range with the access points with was a multi-level concrete slab. So I guess how is your range affected by obstacles? I guess it's very similar to how typical Wi-Fi is affected, right?
Yeah, it's just the absorption rate of different materials. It's it doesn't
Mm,
change. You know
yeah.
the penetration of our signal. It's just the same
Mm,
as any other Wi-Fi access point. Just do keep in mind that you probably see our access points probably with 1 or 2 dB higher transmission rate. So hopefully that helps.
mm.
We
Yeah,
are just, slightly overpowered there.
they're definitely the range that we're recommending for people who are asking for long range access points, whether that be indoor or outdoor, for sure.
Yeah, so I think it's always good to run your heat maps in those type of situations, as you guys know,
Yeah,
and run it from
absolutely.
there. But hopefully with that extra 1 or 2 dBs there, it'll help out.
Yeah, nice. One other thing, just looking at my notes here, some of the benefits of the GWN cloud, just going back to that, particularly with one of the customers I had recently who's looking at the GWN access points, and what really won them over was the ability of the zero touch provisioning of the access points. Did you maybe want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of my favorite things about these management type systems. It just makes it easier, especially if you're a managed service provider or
Mhm.
you're an installer. Yeah, it's the thing that I hate most about working in this industry is unpacking a device and then repacking it, because I
Yeah,
always miss. I don't know where things go, and things look messy after a repack.
they they never fit back the same way.
They never do, no matter
No.
how much you try.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that zero touch provisioning to me is a game changer, because
Mhm,
all I need to do is just either scan that barcode or manually add the MAC address and the Wi-Fi password, and
mhm.
get everything fully configured, and all I have to do is just ship that unit out, and that's it. From then on, hopefully all your customers know which hole to plug the Ethernet port in, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
really all it is. Yeah.
exactly.
And,
That's
but
yeah.
and yeah, and also if you're doing the installation, um, yeah, I'm sure everyone has this experience where um, one access point is supposed to be installed in this area, but they accidentally swap it. And then
Mhm, mhm.
what you don't want to do is climb back up there, plug it back in, and try to reprogram it. You can just change
Yep,
that all in GWN Cloud,
yep,
and don't have to worry about redoing everything.
absolutely.
Um,
And it's
you know, uh, yeah, that's right. I think one more thing I like to mention is
mhm,
if you guys are like me, I manage many different networks at once for many different customers at once, and with GWN Cloud, it really allows me to kind of do like a multi-tenant type of situation. I can create a separate network for each customer, create separate logins for these individual customers so that they see only their network and their access points.
mhm.
And now I'm kind of like a service provider, with a bunch of customers
Yeah,
that I'm taking care of. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, that's kind of like to add that too.
I'd even say the simplicity of GWN Cloud, even a standard home user could effectively end up being their own MSP. Like myself, I could
Yeah,
deploy some at my parents' house and my auntie's, my cousin's place, and kind of de facto run my own MSP with my own family. So,
yeah. Walk
not that
around
I'm
the
offering,
neighborhood
not that I'm
and
offering to do that though.
yeah, you can walk around the neighborhood and start selling a portion of your 1 gig connection to your neighbors.
Oh, that's how a lot of the WISP started here in New Zealand. So, yeah, nice. Yeah, and adding back to that zero touch thing as well with us at Go Wireless here, it's kind of one of the things that we pride ourselves on. We can drop ship to people's customers, so as long as we're giving the customers the MAC address and the password, we can send it directly to their customers, and the access point doesn't even have to go direct to customers. So heaven forbid they have to open the box themselves; it can go straight to them.
Yeah, and they don't have to
Yep.
worry about carrying that inventory. It goes directly from your
Yeah.
house.
Yep. And we definitely have plenty of stock, as I mentioned earlier on, as much as we can get our hands on.
Absolutely.
Cool. So I guess the last thing, just finishing up, you've kind of touched on a few of them throughout the webinar there, but some upcoming Grandstream products. So you published a video recently on your YouTube channel, a recording of one of the webinars previously about what's coming up in 2022, which kind of talked about your phone line as well as your networking line. But is there any kind of particular products in particular that you're super excited about? Maybe want to talk about here?
Oh yeah, I think I was on that webinar too, right? I believe I was.
Quite possibly, yeah. One of the many.
Yeah, so a couple of products that I have in hand that are pretty exciting. Number one here is our new wireless router.
Ooh, fancy.
This is a new. This here is a Wi-Fi 6, but it's a 2x2. It has 4 Ethernet ports, actually 5
Mhm.
Ethernet ports, with 2 of them having the capability of being WAN ports. Has a built-in USB port as well. We're trying very hard to support 4G dongles
All right,
and 5G
nice.
dongles. So we're working on that very hard. We did release this for beta testing
Mhm.
actually a very long time ago, 3 or 4 months ago, and we kind of shifted the market for this a little bit. At first, it was
Mhm.
kind of aimed more of a consumer type of router.
Mhm.
But now we're moving towards the prosumer type of customer.
Yeah, yep.
With more enterprise features built in it. More enterprise minded features built into it rather than just having it solely for the home use.
Yeah.
A couple of things that a couple of standout items are going to be our at home mode or work at home mode.
Mhm.
Simple click that will allow this device to create VPN tunnels directly to your corporate office, so that you can send this out to your remote workers and still have that secure connection.
Mhm.
It's just some of those type of enterprise grade features that we're trying to keep in mind. Hopefully, it'll be available next quarter. Thank
Right.
you to all of our beta testers. If any of you are in here, you guys great. It gave us some amazing feedback. So we're hopefully be able to implement all of those cool features in there very soon.
Yeah, Dan from our office has one of them. So yeah, we got to all have a
Yeah,
bit of
yeah,
a play around to look at it. Yeah, very cool.
yeah. I need to send them some new firmware with a lot of the new features.
Nice.
So I also have, just to kind of tie in Wi-Fi stuff with
Mhm.
our communication stuff. I have
Mhm.
our new. Now, first off, I would say I have all of these devices laying on my desk at arm's reach, because I'm not wearing any pants, so I don't want to get up to get
Yeah,
them.
nice.
So I
Nice.
have them all here. These are
Living the
our
dream.
2 new Wi-Fi handsets.
Nice.
This one here is our new WP822,
Mhm.
which is I would say a successor to our WP820
Mhm.
Wi-Fi phone, except for it is running full Linux and it does have increased battery life. So you'll be able to get up to 8 hours of talk time on this baby.
Nice.
And to go on a little bit farther, we have the WP825, which is the ruggedized version of our Wi-Fi
Mm.
handset. This is actually a very hard rubber type of material. It's fully waterproof and chemical proof, so that
Right.
if these are deployed in a
Mhm.
medical facility, you can
Mhm.
spray solutions on there to sanitize it.
Nice.
And it's very rugged, so drop safe, and it does have a a longer battery life too, with up to 8 hours of talk time.
Nice.
So
I
yeah,
would ask if you want
these
to do a
type.
live drop test, but then you'd have to get up and would see the lack of pants. So.
Yeah, knowing my luck, I'll probably have like an Elon Musk type of
Oh
situation
yeah.
with the Cybertruck. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, these are coming up very, very soon. Um, I don't have any of these other products with me, but we are going to be releasing some new point-to-point and point-to-multipoint
Nice.
access points this year.
Mhm.
We're finally getting there. It took us a while, and we're
Yep.
still designing the products and getting a lot of feedback. Thank you
Mhm.
to Go Wi-Fi for giving all of the feedback that you have. We really want to make sure that we get this right.
Yeah.
It's one of those products where it has to work.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
there's
Will
no
they be cloud manageable?
yeah, they will all be cloud manageable.
Awesome.
Everything that we release on the networking line will be cloud manageable, including the router. I forgot to mention that, which
Oh
is
yeah.
which
Nice.
is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I guess
yeah,
the remaining step, which has been kind of like much like Router OS 7 from MikroTik was the unicorn. Your unicorn is the Grandstream switches. They are
yeah.
real.
They are real. We went through several iterations of these switches. I think we've been trying to release a switch for the past 3 years now. We came very, very close last year,
Mhm.
until like all of these component issues
Yeah.
and all that. So that delayed it. But we finally kind of redesigned it a little bit so that our switches are able to use multiple chipset vendors.
Okay.
In the event that these crazy type of shortages happen again, it
Mhm.
wouldn't affect the production of these switches. But these are they're real, and they are scheduled to be released later this year,
Mhm.
tentatively towards the second half of Q4. But
Mhm.
we're doing everything that we can to pull them in earlier. We're going to start off with a small lineup of
Mhm.
four, actually, I guess, yeah, four different switches. We have an
Mhm.
8 port, a 16 port, a 24 port, and a 48 port. All of them have your SFP plus ports in there, so
Mhm.
you can connect your fiber modules. They're going to be full layer 3 now.
All
Previously when
right.
we talked about switches, we were talking about layer 2 plus,
Mhm.
but these new switches are going to be full layer 3, cloud manageable, with
Mhm.
CLI access. I know
All right.
probably 75% of the people on this webinar probably prefer the CLI, so we got you covered, guys.
Do I have to learn a new language though, or will it be fairly simple? The CLI.
It's going to be very, very simple.
Mhm.
I can't say now, but it's going to be very similar to maybe an open source operating system that you guys are probably already using.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right.
Um,
Nice.
but for we're hoping for the most part, the customers are going to be using the GWN.cloud to manage everything,
Mm.
which it supports.
Yeah. Nice. So PoE, AFAT, all that fun stuff.
Yep. One of the things that we're building in by default to kind of make it unique to Grandstream is we're going to
Mhm.
have a smart QoS feature that automatically provides quality of service for VoIP type of traffic. VoIP, voice and video. So that'll be built right in from default. Obviously, you can disable it, but
Mhm.
it's going to be a very cool homebrew algorithm from Grandstream
Yeah.
to kind of prioritize this type of traffic, being that it's what we
Nice.
do.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I use your router, the switch, the access point, the Wi-Fi phones, and I have a great time.
Yeah, once these switches come out, we finally have the ability to provide a complete
Yeah.
solution with not just communications and UC, but also on the networking infrastructure too. So I'm very
Yeah.
excited to have everything under one brand.
That's very, very cool. Nice. Oh, before we wrap up with a few other questions, I like to always ask guests that I have on one question, but I'll ask it a bit more tailored to you. What is your favorite Grandstream product?
My favorite Grandstream product. I would say, and maybe other people may not agree, but I would say it's the GSC 3510. This is
Right.
our SIP intercom speaker.
Mhm.
You know, it's a pretty old product now. We do have some new models coming out that will replace
Mhm.
it, but
Mhm.
just from just because here with Grandstream, we've been working from home for over 2 years
Mhm.
now, and we're not even
Yep.
scheduled
Yep.
to go back into the office till July. So
Yep.
for me, it's been a great product from working from home, not just work wise, but also on a
Mhm.
personal side as well, because I can just use it as a Bluetooth speaker to play my music in the room as well.
Oh, cool. Nice.
So it's
Sounds good.
kind of my yeah, kind of
Yeah.
my personal favorite there. Kind of weird.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Awesome. Well, I think we'll close up with a few of the questions that have came through. We'll just quick fire through these. Support for 6E band. I guess besides you saying drawing the letter E on
Yeah,
it.
the Wi-Fi 6E is coming. That's part of our plan. Um, it's just a matter of if we can get our hands on the chipsets.
Yeah.
So we're trying our best to get our hands on some chipsets, but as
Mhm.
soon as we do, we'll have them ready.
It's country to country dependent as well, right? Because I know for New Zealand, our 6E regulation is different to this other country, to this
Yeah,
country.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think we see some 6E in the market now.
Hmm.
Very few. Obviously, the gaming routers, they tend to always get the
Yeah.
first new technologies, right?
The ones with the
I believe
16
that.
antennas on it.
Yeah, the one that looks
Yeah.
like a crazy spaceship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those always get the new technologies first.
Yep.
Typically, for the enterprise segment, it's usually a year to a year and a half
Hmm.
after wide adoption by the public. Um, but I think, I mean, we've already placed our orders internally for
Hmm.
Wi-Fi 6E chipsets, and
Yep.
hopefully by that time, the regulations worldwide will be, more stable. I think the
Mm.
same goes for 60 gigahertz. I know from some countries it's
Yeah.
licensed, right?
Yep.
And that's something that we're also planning on releasing on our point to point and point to multipoint stuff too. So
Mm.
it gets kind of crazy talking about
Yep.
regulations.
Absolutely. Yeah. Does the GWN 7664 support lag grouping on the two Ethernet ports?
It doesn't right now, but the firmware upgrade it will.
Fantastic. Does it support PoE? I think that was when we were talking about the router. If any of the routers will support PoE.
Yeah, I think probably the question is, will it support PoE output, to power
Yep, that's
other
one. Yep.
devices? Yeah, this model does not. We do have a couple of new access points coming out later this year that do have additional PoE output ports. For
Oh, cool.
example, our GWN 7624, which is our
Hmm.
in-wall access point, it does have additional 4 Ethernet ports, and 2 of them will support PoE output.
Hmm. Mark was asking about the 7602 beta firmware. Potentially, you just flick us an email after the webinar. We can look into that for you.
Yeah, I think if you have your hands on one of them, that means you're one of our beta testers. We're gonna
Mhm.
post that in the beta test forum very soon.
Cool. How do I deal with Wi-Fi contention and roaming issue between the APs on other vendor APs for your Wi-Fi handsets? I guess
Um,
obviously the Wi-Fi handsets themselves support open roaming standards like KVNR.
right. Yeah, we our handsets support open roaming standards.
Hmm.
802.11 RK and V. Not
Hmm.
every manufacturer supports those roaming protocols. I would say if you're using a mixture of different branded access points, I would say to rely more on OKC and PMC
Hmm.
caching to
Right,
do
right.
the roaming. In that case, what's really important there is to really control the the transmit power on these access points to make sure that they're not screaming at each other on the same channel.
Yeah.
I think that's more
Yep.
important than worrying about the roaming protocols, because once you get that straight, even if you have to, utilize the minimum RSSI on these access points to really get this roaming to happen faster. That's probably my recommendation there.
Nice. The door stations need to support VP8 support. VP8, not something I'm familiar with. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's the old Google codec for
Right.
video and audio. I don't know off the top of my head. I know that the industry is focusing more on Opus than VP8. So I'm not 100% sure, but we might forego VP8 and just really focus on Opus there.
Right. All good. Customer saying that the 3510 sound quality is awesome, but do you think the new ones could be louder? And also someone saying mounted outdoors ?
Yeah, those are great questions. The GSE 3510, I believe, has an 8-watt speaker. The new models will have a 15-watt speaker. So
wow, nice.
Definitely a lot louder. I believe we have 2 models that are going to be released, one for indoor and one for outdoors. So.
Right. Nice. Awesome. Well, I believe that's all the questions people have so far. So cool. Yeah. Well, again, thanks for your time, Hieu. It's been awesome catching up and awesome talking about all these new products. And yeah, it's been fantastic having you on. And thanks for having me on as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Simon and Ashraf. Thank you to everyone that have joined. Appreciate everyone. Miss you all. Hopefully, we'll be able to get back on the road sometime in the future. And well, if you're in New Zealand, we'll probably be having drinks.
Absolutely. Yep. The beer fridge upstairs is nice and cold, so ready to go. Cool. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank
Thanks,
you, everyone,
everyone.
for tuning in. Thanks, Hieu and Simon.
Bye, guys.
All right. See you guys.